Hey, Josh Hicks here. Having a little bit of difficulty today with the Facebook Lives, but hopefully we're coming through clear this time. Really just putting some things down here. This is for all you virtual recruiters, specifically kind of touching into the truck driver recruiter agents. We're going to be talking about a few steps that have changed thousands of recruiters' lives in being able to produce quite a bit more. Some cases triple to quadruple the basically hiring, a weekly hiring average, really pulling in a different kind of income by doing that. You can imagine commissions that are out here the highest that they've ever been. We've talked a little bit about that. Now, having over 1 million drivers in the last couple of decades that I've worked with in our database and that we work with very closely, we know that there's some key things that you can really do. We also have these key things that I'm going to be covering. They're in our trainings and things. These are just pieces of it, but I want to give it to you for free out here just to really give you some good information that you could apply today if you're actively doing this. Now, if you're trying to get into it and you're out here searching around trying to figure out where to go, then take these things too, because you can use them in wherever you go. We deal with a lot of different sectors in recruiting, so these different things can be applied, but really aggressively in truck driver recruiting and the logistics side of recruiting, just because of the nature of the business. We are at a shortage of drivers, which means they have a lot more control out here on what they do. So if they no-show, they don't show up to an interview, things like that, it happens a lot more out here. Those that have been in it, you guys know this by now, but just to let you know, that's what happens if you're just getting into this business. Again, only over 20 years of doing this business. My name's Josh Hicks. If you haven't met me yet or worked with us, glad to have you, and hopefully this will help you. Now, just two things, two golden nuggets is what I call it. One is follow-up. And I've been really working, and I'll continue to work on follow-up because it's one of the things that's missed a lot in transportation. You can't, like I was saying, it's not like the other industries. You can't follow up the same way as you may if you're in our real estate side of business, for instance. You know that if you've got a listing, you can follow up with your buyers or sellers, every week leading up to, a possible close. When you get closer to the close, you may communicate a little more. It's something that's already there. These guys are having thousands of people contact them, and that's it really is quite a few people. Thousands of people might be overdoing it, but it is a lot of people. So they may think that the grass is greener on the other side if you're not doing this follow-up. So you've got to keep that communication. What I want to talk about is how you would do a follow-up in cold, just real quick here. So for a cold guy that maybe you wasn't able to close, you wasn't able to get into finishing an application and committing to an orientation date, you may do a follow-up with him if he's qualified. Really follow up with him, set times and places that, if he's got a goal, for instance, you can't overcome the objection of, I've got to give a notice and I want to give him a month. You can't usually schedule an orientation in a month, so you want to make sure that you're keeping up with that individual. I would say if he's really qualified and you've really connected, I would try to be with that guy every day to, no more than 3 days up to that month that you're waiting, to make sure that you're keeping in communication. Daily will always keep you there if you can just put a little bit of time in it. We're not talking about 30 seconds to a minute for a qualified guy that a commission could turn out to be $1,000 to $6,500 these days for a hire. So it's worth keeping up with this individual if he's a good record, if this individual is connected with you, and you find a way here that you can actually help this person. On the hot side, this is definitely something that a lot of people don't follow, but we teach. And the people that do, I have seen it change good recruiters into being the best recruiters, bad recruiters into being good recruiters and good recruiters moving into even better. So it's really just following up with individuals on a daily, figuring out what to connect. If you did the job right at the beginning and your introduction and really question-based sales side of things where you really figure out what is tapping into the emotion of that driver, then you can use that conversation and remember, take good notes and find out where that individual is motivated in the first place to talk to you and where they wanted to actually move forward with you at some level. So you remind them of that on a daily and just connect with them. Approach it in a way where as soon as you start approaching this kind of business in a way where you have to have them and you're forcing them to do so, they're going to turn the other way. But if you can connect with them and really connect with them where they can understand that you're actually trying to make their lives better and you're trying to give them something of value and it's not just about you, that's the mentality that you really got to have to be successful in this. So, we give a lot of the tools, a lot of the strategies and all our training. We also tell you good ways to really tap into those individuals. After 20 years of talking to thousands and thousands and thousands, like I said, over 1 million in our database right now that we work with and have worked with, we learn the psychology of it. And that's what we teach, the psychology of this industry and really what it is. So that's a lot of it. Understand that. And a lot of it's just really connecting and being, down to earth. These are down to earth people. Just really connect with them. It's not all about business, just really connect them as a person. Now, the follow-up, one thing that's just kind of a brief thing. What we'll always do is you'll want to put them in test. That's number 2, setting the test for them. So it kind of goes hand in hand with follow-up, and setting the test is all the way through your basically your pitch. So there's a lot of, in our course, that talks about this. We've got about 9 modules that cover, a lot of different videos, over 100 and some odd videos, maybe even more than that, up to a couple hundred videos we go through where it's in training, but you're setting tests all the way through that. And so I really want to kind of talk about the cold person on the cold side. When we talked about actually doing follow-up originally, I was talking about setting that date for the 1 month, for instance. If this individual, I'm just using an example here, this individual is going for 1 month, what you're going to want to do is set a test for this individual that every 1 to 3 days that you're actually communicating with them, and actually have them make it worth their while to do so, to contact you. And so you're setting tests. How serious is this guy? Is he really... Is this individual really into what I'm doing? And this really can show you if they're on board with you. If you really connected with the person and you're telling them, hey, give me a call. I want to make sure when you call me at this time, I want to see if I can get you even more value, and I want to do some work for you because I think if you call me at this time, we can look into some things. And so you're making it a benefit for them to call you. It's not just a controlling thing, but you're making it a benefit. If they call you back, then you know that you've actually said the right things that really have this individual on board with you. So if they missed the first time, the trick is if you set that time, let's say it was 10 a.m. That Tuesday, and they didn't call you back, it's your job to give them about 5-10 minutes and give them a call right away and find out in a positive way, hey, what's going on? Did you forget about me, man? Then you don't really need to get too much into it. He just wasn't, you didn't do it enough to get them inspired enough to call you. So you got another chance. So that's why it really is important to do every 24 hours is what I really teach people, because you're getting practice while you're doing it, and you're learning how to read them on the phone and read the situation to find out if you have this individual on board with you 100%. So setting those tests. Now, that is in the cold market. That guy in a month, you're setting tests for that. The hot side of it is if you've got the guy in an application, the individual in an application, they're going in for an orientation and you're doing your 24 follow. So let's just say that you sent them to get an application, and so you're getting this application done. The first test is always going to be call me as soon as that is done. Say, for instance, you had an individual that's doing the application. And in some cases, depending on where you're going, if you work with, for instance, if you work with our contracts and kind of through our agency, we have individuals that do applications for you, so it's different places. Some of our customers have application specialists, we have application specialists, these kind of things. So really what you want to do is when you go through that application process, you hand that off to the application specialist. You're going to tell the individual, that the driver, you're going to get them to commit to calling you back and make it a benefit to them. Hey, listen, I've got something real good to talk to you about after you finish the application. Call me back right away. I want to talk to you just as soon as you finish up here with the application. That's their first test, the very first test of your real candidate that could potentially be a commission to you and your first actual close, which we always say your initial close is when you get that application in, but the full close is when you get them through the orientation actually showing up. So you're in that process. Now, all these steps, a lot of people skip them, but the ones that have applied, I've seen them triple, quadruple their numbers because of these small little two golden nuggets is what I say. So basically you want to do that follow-up. Now listen, if they're going to do, in some cases, they may do the app. Say for instance, you are at a place where you're like, okay, I want to test them. I don't have somebody to do the application for me, but I want to test them to see if they can do the application. If they do the application, then they've at least at that level committed with me. Now, I don't always recommend this because it's sometimes hard for drivers. They're on the road, they're traveling and things like that. So if you have another way, then do it. But maybe you've got an individual that's questionably, like you're reading something on their pre-qualification. Maybe they're not, you're not fully believing that they are telling you the truth, and you want to put them to the test on the application process. So you're going to put more work into their hands. Now that's a situation or a variable that I would normally have somebody do an application if I was questionable. So they do the application. Now, say for instance they're driving, they're saying I can't do the application right now because I'm driving and I'm going to have to get on my phone and do the application. Then you set an appointment. So if you say 10 a.m. it is, and I'm going to give it a trick here that really works, and that is don't ask them, hey, will 10 a.m. work? Will you be there? Can you do this? That's the wrong way to do it. You have to be assumptive on when it can be, and you have to give them the answer. So if they're driving down the highway, say, hey, listen, what is a fuel stop about? What do you got a fuel stop here about 60 miles away or so? What are you about 15? Sometimes I'll say, what are you about 15 minutes from the fuel stop there? Because they're going to know it. They know these lanes that they're running. They're going to know where fuel stops are, where they can take breaks, those kind of things. Now, they're going to come back and say, no, it's about 25 minutes. Okay. All right, 25 minutes. So let's just say if that was 10 a.m. Your time and their time, then you set that 10 a.m. and you say, okay, here's what I need you. Here's what you've got to do for me real quick. When you get in that stop, call me as soon as you roll in, because it's going to take no time to knock this thing out. I want to get in front of somebody that is actually over these accounts. I want to make it so you've got to make it beneficial for them because they're just about to have to get into doing some work with you, right? So at that point, you set that appointment. Now, if they do not call you, again, 5-10 minutes, you give them 5-10 minute window. They could have got caught in traffic, anything like that. So give them 5-10 minutes, call them back and say, hey, you didn't forget about me. Did you get in the fuel stop? You should have pulled in by now. Assumptive. Don't ask. Be very assumptive, be in control, but also give them the benefit of, something that's valuable. So you're giving them value through this process. They're feeling like you're on a team. That's the connection. So that's really it, and that's the test. So you make the follow-up. If they're not calling, set that appointment, keep that appointment. A lot of people, I don't understand it. After thousands and thousands of agents that I've coached, trained, and hired and worked with over the years, I see so many people that just are really quality when it comes to sell. They have no problem with debating these kind of things, but then it comes down to setting an appointment and they just completely flop. It's like they're scared to do it. I don't know if it's afraid of the failure of somebody not doing it. The thing about it is it's just another stepping stone. So if you can get the mentality of that, it's just another stepping stone. If you fail on that person calling you back, then you call them back and you get another chance to get them inspired and really believing in you. Who knows, that guy could have been in some traffic and he just didn't make it yet, and he said, hey, I've still got you on the mind. I was going to call you, but I kind of got in this situation. So it's really that. So the 2 golden nuggets, just to recap: follow up. Make sure that you are following up every 24 hours no matter what. That's what I would recommend if you want the best results. And when you're doing that follow-up, then make sure that you are setting tests for them to call you by giving them value and incentive for them to call you. If they don't, and you set those exact appointments when they do, if they do not call you back, then you make sure you call them back within a 5, 10, 15-minute window and ask them what's up and really kind of go back into figuring out how to connect with them. So that is it. Guys, I hope this helps. If you are one of our agents or recruiters or in our network out here already working, and you've probably gone through this in some fashion or form, because a lot of you have gone through our training side of it. If you're somebody just getting into it, then hopefully you can take this. Maybe you're somebody that's out here that's already been doing it. You're kind of stabbing in the dark a little bit, trying to figure out how to be better. That's what we're doing here. Connect with us, like the page, like the video here. Please share below what you took away from this video, what helped you, kind of inspired you. I'd love to hear that. You can connect on Messenger. Would love to set something up. I do a lot of free consultations and really kind of talk about, hey, where are you at in your business? We can tell you the next steps to go. You're trying to get from a 6-figure to a multiple 6-figure. We do it every day. We help people do that every day. So would love to connect with you. If you're just trying to get into it, for instance, and you want to learn more, love to do the same thing. Now, if you leave down what you got from the video below, we do a lot of selecting over time. What we'll do is come through there, and we may select you depending on who it is, and we'll select a bunch of people. We'll put a drawing out there, and we'll give you a bunch of free stuff. We've got a bunch of cool stuff happening here in the coming weeks, and just a lot of free stuff that's going to come out here, a lot of free information that will help you build your business, and we're excited about doing it. Listen, again, Josh Hicks here. Thank you for connecting with us. Thank you for looking and checking us out on this video. Check us out on the next video. Until then, you guys have a good night.
Hey, thanks for sticking around. And by the way, you like videos like that, check this out right next to us right here. It's going to be exactly what you need. If you're new, subscribe down below. You'll get updated on all new information coming. And if you comment below, I'm going to be pulling somebody on a monthly to give free coaching away. Looking forward to it. See you on the other side.